Derek? We know you're here. Says connecting. What's up?
Here I am.
How you doing, brother?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good, man. All is well. How's the weather there?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty darn nice.
So
pretty darn nice.
Yeah, I got the shop window right here.
Very nice. So how you doing? How you been?
Things pretty good. You know, it's definitely surreal. It's been a weird 3 months, and pretty much everything hit the fan right before the Architectural Digest show was supposed to happen. They canceled it basically a week and a half before the show was going to go. So that was
yikes.
Like the world just went on end. Everything I was working for the previous 3 months just went like, we don't need that anymore. So
right.
Schools canceled. The kids are home. So,
yeah. Talk about a swinging plans.
Yeah, it's definitely. It was like, whoa. Okay, let's change things up a little bit.
Big time.
Big time.
All right, so let's tell us who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Okay, I'm Peter Harrison. I make furniture out of metal, wood, and sometimes concrete. Not too much of it anymore, though. I've been kind of getting away from concrete. I was born in New York City. I was raised in New York City.
What part?
Boy. So now I live in Saratoga Springs.
Wait, what part of New York City were you raised in? I know we talked about this.
Well, I grew up until I was 12. I was on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And
where at?
96th Street.
Okay.
So my parents bought a house on 96th Street in 1973, apartment. And it was like basically Harlem. It was like 2 blocks south of Harlem. And it was amazing. The line was like, in those days, Harlem wasn't what it is today. Harlem was a little scary. And it was a street, this side of the street.
Hold on, man.
Side was Harlem.
In the 70s, all of New York was scary.
Oh, yeah. So.
All right, so we're gonna hop in, and then we'll get back to your journey.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. Everyone gets asked these questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. What phrase or word do you overuse?
What phrase?
Yep. What phrase or word do you overuse?
God, I caught myself typing this one over and over again recently, but I'm blanking on it. I'll have to come back to that one.
What is your least favorite thing to do?
Least favorite thing to do? Paperwork. All the office stuff. Hate it.
Do you do that alone?
I do it alone. I do everything alone.
You know, we all have the same problem, and we all have the same problem. You need an office person to do the office work.
It's not me.
It's none of us. And somehow we won't learn. Oh,
it's not someone. There's got to be someone out there who's really good at it.
They are. We just not taking the time to look for them. What is your most favorite thing to do?
Most favorite thing to create the new piece, create the next one, create the piece that is going to be it.
Okay. Now, this is about life, not necessarily about the shop.
Oh, I'm in the shop right now. I'm in the shop.
No, but I'm saying the questions are about life, not.
Okay. All right, life questions.
Yes.
What's my favorite thing? I still hate paperwork, though. That's still the worst thing.
Yes, that is a life thing.
My favorite thing to do in life, probably just playing with my kids, taking them out, and that's become the new awesome, is like bringing them to places that they can experience.
All right, cool. What would your spouse say she would like to change about you the most?
Oh, man. Better at the honey-do list.
If you had to go to a card game and you had to bring one person with you and a fight could possibly bring out, who would it be?
You. Can I bring you?
I can't play cards.
Neither can I. You said the fight that was about to break out.
The fight is a possibility. It may not break out, and then what?
So I need a card shark. I need a card shark.
What makes you tick?
The designs, the new work. Coming up with what's next.
What irks you the most?
And lately, people not wearing their masks, man.
All right. What sound makes you the happiest?
What sound makes me the happiest?
Yep.
It's either the Tanowitz starting, the table saw, or loud music.
All right. Handcuffs or scarves?
Handcuffs or scarves?
Answer the question.
I'm on the masks. I got to wear my scarf.
What sound bothers you the most?
Sound bothers me the most. Whatever my kid's into.
What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck, man.
What profession other than your own would you like to try?
What profession other than my own? Is this, can I be out of the arts or am I in the arts?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm not going to try surgery because I'd botch that up. Yeah, why not be a surgeon? Why not?
All right.
Let's
Okay.
do that.
So you and your wife are in a bar and a fight breaks out. Is she more likely to get the gun or call the police?
Call the police. Well, you know, I like to threaten people. And I'm pretty big. I'm like 6'4".
You are. You're a big dude.
I want to tell you something. If things get rough and things go bad, I run really fast.
Oh my God. All right. What would you want on your tombstone? Just so you know, I'm not bringing you to a card game.
Yeah, don't bring me to a card game. Poker face either.
You need two things. What would you want on your tombstone?
What's on my tombstone? I didn't do it all, but I did everything I could.
All right, cool. All right, so now we're going to get into the conversation.
Okay.
After high school, tell us your journey and what led you to doing what you do now.
All right, so I'm going to stop into high school for a second before to lead into that, because my high school had a pretty good wood program, and I had a really good wood teacher. He was an artist. He wasn't a woodworker. He was an artist who was teaching wood, and that had an effect on me in high school.
Where was this?
What's that?
Where was this? What high school where?
But it's called Fieldston. It was a small private school in the Bronx.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up, man. Wait a second.
Yeah.
You went to the Ivy League high school?
I did.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, right up, down from me, in the Bronx, Riverdale, Upper Manhattan, super duper echelon.
Not actually the Bronx, but it is the Bronx.
Right, exactly. That's why there's a group of high schools that are called the Ivy League high schools.
The hilltop schools, yeah.
Yes. And these schools have been upper echelon for 100 years?
Yeah, totally.
So, so these schools, the professors are from the Ivy League schools. So it's Fieldstone,
Field, Riverdale, and Horace Mann.
yes, yes, yes. This this explains so much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's not one of us, y'all. He's not one of us. He's a fraud. Okay, go ahead. So,
all right, so I did a little there, and I had a little there, and I also have to interject. My parents were both architects in New York City, and they designed parks and playgrounds in New York City. My dad,
where's your mom and dad right now?
My dad is deceased. My mom she's been living in New York. She's out of New York now. Because it's like she's 82. She can't be in New York City now.
Where'd she go?
She has a weekend house, but she's actually here watching my kids right now.
Beautiful.
So she has a weekend house in Ulster County, and we'll get there because that's important. So my parents were architects in New York City. My dad owned his own business from 1955
Wow.
to 2011 when he retired.
Wow.
He worked until 85, and that was him. They the greatest contribution that I could, like, other than their many years of service to New York, they designed two drinking fountains that are cast concrete. They're a way of handicapped access, universal access, that are in countless parks in New York City. That's really cool. Whenever I come back, to see their drinking fountain all over the city, just awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Fine background. It's just kind of like ingrained in me from that. I go to high school. I go to Bates College, Stanford Liberal Arts College in Maine for 1 year, and it was wrong. It was like, because I could get a B-, a B without reading books, without doing too much work.
Just showing up, taking a test.
What's that?
I said just showing up, taking a test.
And you take this, you do a mediocre job, you throw it out, doesn't look at you. You know, I never see it again. So after that year, I transferred to RIT and went to their woodworking program, woodworking and furniture design. And that was it. It was like, you do a bad project there, it stares at you until you burn it. It's like, it's there until you destroy it. And some of them had to be destroyed. So, but it was like, that was the critique that I needed. That was the feedback to push me better.
No participation trophies.
What's that?
No participation trophies.
No participation trophies, and my mistakes and my failures stared at me and made me want to correct it better. So it was great education. It was focused on woodworking, but one of my friends learned that you could take these College of Continuing Ed classes at night without paying any more money, and you get like 2 credits and you could do machining. So we started taking these machining classes at night, and we would show up. We were crazy kids, Dad. We were just nuts. And we showed up, and there'd be like all these guys at Kodak who were getting paid, and they were like, you know, make the part, and we were chips flying everywhere, smoke pouring from the machine, and let's do this. They didn't know what to think of us, and it was great for learning the metalworking aspect of it. And that, like, did I know at the time that was going to push me into this other direction? No, but it was so necessary to have that foundation. So
how many years did you do the continuing night stuff machining?
I think 2 years.
And 4 semesters.
And what's 6, because we were on a quarter system. It was 3, but yeah, 4 semesters.
So you did 2. So you did 2 full years.
2 full years.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a lot.
It was a lot, and it was by the second year, I was like, I don't really want to do your little project. I don't want to make this little stepped little plug, which probably was an important part for Kodak. Like, we need to make these in the 60s. Like, we need to make 100 of these a day, and we'll go and give the print to the night school and let them train our kids. And I'm like, I don't want to make that little plug. I want to make something useful. So I was making some parts for my furniture, kind of coming up with independent projects to do that. So.
Okay. All right. So you did this while simultaneously studying wood during the day.
Yeah. So that was like fun, because you go there for 2 hours and you do it, and you don't bring it home. It wasn't homework. It was just like Monday nights you would go downtown and do this. So.
Okay. So this went on for 4 years, 5 years?
I had 4 years of the wood program.
Okay. And were you working in college at all, or just a student?
Here and there, but just a student, really. I worked for one of my professors for the last 2 years, off and on at school, and then both summers.
What'd you do?
Well, in the summer of '95, I should put some dates on this. We built a house for one of his clients down in Penland, North Carolina.
Nice.
So there's a craft school in Penland, which is amazing. But we were working. He moved there because of the craft school, but we were working on a house that was in the same, probably 5 miles from the school. So we built this house with a couple of other students and a professional crew as well. And the other students they're my lifelong friends now. So,
okay. Jack wants to know, did you work with Tage?
I did not work at Tay Fred.
Sorry.
Okay. Tay Fred had left by the time I was there, but he came to lecture one day, and Tay had taught my professor, Doug Sigler. Doug Sigler had taught my friend John Dodd, who was a visiting professor at the time, and John Dodd was teaching us at that time. So there was actually 4 generations from Tay to Doug to John. Wow. In the room when Tay was there for his lecture.
Wow. It's pretty cool. All right, so when you go down to North Carolina, how long did you all stay there?
How did we stay there?
How long?
How long? The summer. It was a summertime gig.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And some of my friends stayed on afterwards. They stayed on as he would do like a work study thing where they could use his shop and pay him like rent via work. So you pay a week of rent, but I didn't do that. So that was after school that some friends did that. But if I get a little more caffeine, I'll be safe, right?
It's all good. Okay, so after college, then what?
After college, I wanted to make my stuff. So I said I'd get back to my parents' house in Ulster County. I moved back to there, and I took over the garage, and I set up my little shop. I had bought a joiner and a planer my senior year. I picked up a unisaw. I picked up a few machines, and that was at a camp school. In September, I had been in North Carolina again that summer, working for Doug Sigler a little bit. Class at Penland. I assisted a class at Penland, and then I came home and I started setting up shop. I was ready to go. I would do trying to build some interesting work. I was near the late 90s became like my grad school. A lot of experimentation, a lot of weird pieces. I found my portfolio that, before internet, you had like your book.
Is it close?
Book. What's that?
Can you grab it?
Can I grab it? I can grab it. It's upstairs.
And show us some pictures of it? We'll do that a little later. We'll do it later. Okay, yeah, so, don't forget it though. Okay. My question, when you were getting the tools, the machines for your garage shop,
yeah,
were you machine savvy then, or did it take you a while to learn?
Oh, I was buying the junkers and fixing them. I wasn't good at fixing them. I didn't understand it. I had it in college too. I had it in, there was a moment in college, we had this shop tech. I was already into machines in college. So we had this shop tech who everyone hated. He was awful. and he had taken apart the Bridgeport mill and left it in a shopping cart. And my professor came to me, and then he got frustrated. I think he didn't think he could get it back together. He walked out and he left, quit. And my professor came to me. He's like, Pete, do you think you can get it back together? And I looked at it, and it's a Bridgeport mill in 1,000 pieces in a shopping cart. And I'm like, I think I'm going to have to hire Tom back. And I was like, oh. And I tell that story to people who went many years after me. They all hated this guy. Just not good. He was, until he finally left. But I like to tell the stories like I could have saved it, but I couldn't put a Bridgeport mill in a shopping cart back together back then.
All right, cool.
So yeah, but now it's gotten more sophisticated, the machines. It's like the more knowledge you know, kind of like furniture making too. The more you know, the harder it is to build a piece of furniture. Like the first build, you don't know about wood expanding and contracting, and it's so easy when you don't have to allow for expansion and contraction.
It's kind of like that thing. If you don't test, you won't get any. You won't find out anyone's has corona.
Yeah. Then you like head in the sand.
Right. Yeah. So, and that was my question about the garage when you first purchased machines.
Yeah.
Is were you as knowledgeable about machines then as you are now? And did you go out looking for the good stuff?
How could you be as knowledgeable? I don't know that you could, but we had good machines at RIT. So when I came out of RIT, what I really wanted was an Oliver Joiner, 166, a Bridgeport mill, and a Tanowitz bandsaw, and maybe a Tanowitz table saw. That was. Oh, and a Hammond glider. We had to have a Hammond glider. We didn't have one at school, but my friend John Dodd had one, so he had two. So you had to have that. That's what you needed to have. Like that was the nirvana that you would achieve. And
so, any of those machines do you still have that you started with?
Let's see. Yeah, I think I still have one of my unisaws and a shaper that I bought that summer.
Okay.
A few, but not many, because there've been a lot of upgrades. As you like find things like, oh, but that one, I like that one.
This has leather seats. This has, all these little. It's all about accessories.
Yeah, accessories and just like, I like how that one looks. So that one,
less warm.
Yeah. So and now just it's come to the point I don't have space for new ones, so the only thing I can do is upgrade.
Okay, so you're home, you got your garage shop, you're experimenting. When you saw your first piece, how did that go?
Oh, that was like, it was all gonna be easy then. So I did this show. First show I do out of college. It's at Society of Arts and Crafts in Boston. Send a piece off. It was the first piece I had made in my new shop. And
what was it?
It was this cabinet. I saw a photo of it the other day. Oh, all right, hold on. So I sold this cabinet. I got my portfolio dropped off, my old portfolio. I did this cabinet that I bought a sheet of Luan plywood at Home Depot because I didn't have any suppliers, and I just turned it, and I built this piece. Where'd it go? Just thought. I built this piece, sent it off to the Society of Arts and Crafts, and it sells to like actual major collectors in the world, the Warnick collection, who they were huge. And it's the first piece I did. I'm like, all right, I got this thing. Here it is. So I did this cabinet, all the doors open, even the ends open. It's turned plywood, and it's this look.
All right, pretty cool.
So I'm like, okay, this, and you go into college. There weren't enough business classes in college, and there wasn't
even in business school. There's not enough business classes in college.
not enough for this business. But it was like my professor's real world experience was also 15 to 20 years out of date. So the things that it's been my experience in this field that everything changes every 5 years. Whatever you have that's working for you won't be working in 5 years. You're going to have to keep reinventing how you market, keep reinventing what you do, and it's forever changing. You're forever adapting your strategies. It's you don't just like, this is what works and get 20 years out of it. It just doesn't work that way, at least for me, in doing trying to make unique art. So I'm doing all this work, and we can look at some of it right now. I'm doing these turned plywood. So this is a big hall table.
Okay.
And then I'm doing like, here's a chest of drawers with these droopy shelves. Each one droops a little more than the other. So I'm doing some veneer work and back forming, cutting dovetails. And I'm on track to become a really good woodworker. So, here's another one, a little cabinet on a base. Little turn doors, little leaf. I did a lot of leaf back in the day. So I'm doing these pretty hardcore, like a lot of bent wood.
Wow.
Plywood, 8.5 foot long bench. It's funny, I haven't looked at this stuff in a long time, seeing all the photos and stuff. So I'm on track to do this, to be this woodworker. And I start doing the Philadelphia Furniture Show in 1998. And I, of course, made the classic mistake of every first show goer. What do? You go down there, you're driving your truck, you add up what everything in the truck is worth. Like, if I sell everything that I have here, and you get out of the show, and if you sold one piece, you were like, I sold one piece. And then that was it. Like, it was like a miracle that you sold a piece. And I was next to one of my good buddies at that show. We hadn't asked to be next to each other, but we happened to be next to each other. And I sold one table wholesale, and he sold one like $400 item. And as the show's closing, our next door neighbor had sold this like huge thing. Talks to my friend, I'll give you $150 if you help me deliver it tonight. And he goes off into the night, left his booth all set up to help this dude deliver it, because that was like, oh man, I only sold $400. He's going to give me $150.
I'm going to make some money.
So yeah, it was this rude awakening of doing shows, but it was also the start of what would become kind of very integral to my business for many years, was doing these shows. And in the early a little off direction into doing sculpture. So I was doing only non-functional sculptural pieces. These were like some forms that I did. These were like study of a bandsaw.
What kind of wood is that?
It's basswood. It's basswood with lacquer, like colored lacquer, different lacquer techniques and stuff like that. So I go off on this foray of doing that, and I come out of that. I've been trying to make functional furniture that was art, and I didn't like it. So I separated. I started doing simpler furniture and actual sculpture. That wasn't right either. When you're trying to promote two things and you're not good at promoting one thing, it becomes too much and you don't know what you're doing. So early 2000s, I start doing this production furniture, where I start making tables that I would make multiples of, and they were like curved legs with a vacuum form panel and a top, and I was doing a miter with a finger jointed tenon in it. They were like built really, really tight. They were that satisfying. And I start looking, I'm in this little shop and I start selling a few things and, you know, stuff's moving a little bit. And I'm in this little shop and I start looking at where's my bottleneck? Where's my failure? And I look at it and go, you know, glue. Teeny shop, I glue something up. I have no room to work and I'm done for the day because this thing is all glued up in my shop. And
can't move.
I can't move. I have to wait for it to dry. And I have to, you know, you're spraying a piece that's all glued up. It's hard to spray it. And you find a little dab of glue that you're cleaning up. So I decided to make this work without glue. And I started, I'm gonna mechanically join everything. And I'm not even gonna edge glue stuff. I'm gonna make stuff that I can get out of one board. And I'm gonna start bringing in some other materials. I loved doing metal work, but I didn't have any exposed metal work in my work before this. So I decided, all right, come up with work that is mechanically connected. And this is what I do to this day. And it suddenly got me, there were a couple years of doing like production, like CD racks, wine towers, and little pieces. And I started in 2004, I wanted to do a new table. And I'm working on this table. I can't design it. I decided to draw a bench. And I drew one drawing of it and I built the bench and I still build it today. Awesome. I made way 50 of them at this point. I've sold it. It's been a killer piece. That leg, once I had that design, it was concrete legs, bent metal rods. It was nautically shaped bench called my Jupiter bench. And, that was what launched the next phase of my career.
Very nice.
That was 2004. By 2006, I was making 80 pieces a year in my little garage shop. And they had to be bolted together. That was it. I mean, it was like, to make 80 pieces in this little shop was impossible. And yet it was pulling it off because I could do multiples. I had, you know. So in 2007, by then my wife and I were engaged. We bought a property where we were. And here we had a house, 11 acres, and 2 falling down barns. And I broke ground, and we broke ground in May for the studio that I'm in now. And it's 32 by 50, about 1,800 square feet, and then it has lofted it.
So okay, so can we tour?
Oh, of course. So, do I flip the camera? Can I do this?
Yep, you can flip it.
All right.
Hey, so, listen, take your time.
I will. I'm gonna move over to the front because we got to start at the front door. So, front door. My house is somewhere up there.
How far is your house? How many steps?
What's that?
How far is your house?
120 feet, maybe.
All right.
So, all right. So here we are looking in the shop. I have 13-foot ceilings, which is great. We got this wall of Vidmar cabinets, which I'm addicted to this. I love.
Okay, now Peter.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what that is.
Well,
talk to us.
Let's go take a look. So these cabinets are industrial cabinets. They're full extension. They hold 400 pounds per drawer. I'm a kind of compulsive organizer. This is my hardware cabinet. And it's just every stupid drawer. When you live out in the country, you need to have every bolt because, you know, you can't run out to the hardware.
Exactly.
And even if you're in a working shop, you can't, the amount of time it takes to go to the store to buy a bolt.
You're right. Your day's gone.
Yeah, it stops you down. So that's full of hardware, electrical stuff, you know, components for furniture, and I like to put stuff away.
So how did you get into Vidmars?
2000 at the Navy Yard in Philadelphia, there was an auction. And my friend was like, it was the craziest auction, best auction I've ever been. Amazing equipment, 4-day auction. And we were just walking around like kids in candy stores, and they had hundreds of Vidmars for sale. And I wanted.
How much were they?
Maybe 400 each.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was auction. I won a set. Maybe I paid $350. So I won a pair of them, and then I won another pair and sold another friend the pair that I won originally, because the next pair was nicer. One of them was actually the one for just in. This was my first one that I ever had. Came from the Navy Yard, and after that, now I have like at least a dozen of them all over the shop. I got these two here. I got ones under the drill press over there. One corner. 2 more hiding under the table saw island. They're just, and then in the metal shop, and you know, I just love
wow
in them. I love, you know, just everything in its place. Everything
nice.
So, because I don't put stuff away. If I don't organize it, you know, it doesn't, like, I don't put it away. If there's not a place for it, I don't put it away. And otherwise the shop gets just trashed. So, you know. So anyway, that's storage. And let's just look here for a second before we tour around. So this is the shop here. And it's about 1,000 square feet of wood shop. And then if I walk over here, I have all my metalworking equipment.
Oh.
And a couple more Vidmars, of course. But so this is, I'm kind of divided into machining and, you know, lots of crazy equipment and woodworking. And then I have a loft upstairs that, up these stairs where I have all my furniture stored, so we can go up there as well too.
Yep.
But these are, as you know, the Hammond glider saws, which I've been kind of crazy about for a number of years, and spent too much time researching and purchasing, and kind of gone overboard at modifying them. A lot of these originally have a pica lead screw, which is not very full, but I've converted it to an inch lead screw and an inch ruler on it. So again, machining parts. So I've made this brass nut with an active thread that snaps onto that. So I've done a lot of machine improvement. We can look at Oliver Joyner. I bought this on eBay, and it was cheap, and it had no good, and it was, I stripped it down to nothing. I painted it, I bondoed it, I painted it, and fabricated a dust hood for it, new electrics on it, and you know, now it's an incredible machine that'll run for another 60 years.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Tanowitz bandsaw. This is a 30-inch, which back in my old shop was essential because it would fit in an 8-foot ceiling, but now it's just the right size for me. Oscillating edge sander with that needs some painting. The blue guy. Wide 25. Quadkin pin router. This is my latest master. Multi-router, which used to be really important for my production. And this is what you had before you had a domino. This is how you cut more back in the day. And back when I did mortises, I did all this woodwork, this traditional woodwork joinery, which I don't do for the most part now. And that was essential. And I don't use it all that much now, although my newer pieces have been using it. Oliver Lathe, another Hammond, Oliver bandsaw. And then this is a gang drill press, which I drill a lot of holes. I really do. I'll drill hundreds of holes at a time, and this is essential for my work. This kind of one of my most used machines in a way, in that I do all this mechanical fastenings where I have to do a lot of precision holes that go into each other, and this is the 7-foot table allows me to put a really.
How many do you have?
Well, this is a 3-header. I've actually gone on a diet. I used to have 6, and now I only have 4 heads. So I have this one, which is freestanding, and this one. So I sold one earlier.
The drill.
So, but then I have some other presses. But yeah, I mean, and then here's my workbench. This is kind of where it happens. I work on carts, I work on my workbench, and I work on the machines. So, and here's the canoe table saw by the door.
Okay.
That's the top. I mean, it's not huge. It's not a huge space, but with the 13-foot ceilings and coming from a 2-car garage, this is heaven. I mean,
right.
You know?
So can we go see the stuff upstairs?
Oh yeah. So it's a little. We got to look at the clamp collection for a second.
Nice.
So my work's a little put aside right now because I have an office up here that I've been renovating, so I kind of threw a lot of stuff out here that would have been the work. So this is a coffee table in plexiglass. It's kind of invisible, but I started using cable in 2000 and 2006. I started cable pieces.
Okay, Peter, 1 second. Pause for a minute.
Yeah.
When you're done, we need to spend a little more time in the metal shop. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll go back to the metal shop. So I've been doing all this work. It's all, let me turn the light on. This is the latest work. It's all this mechanically fastened work.
How long does that take?
What's that?
How long does that take?
Too long. Takes too long. But it's I don't know. It's kind of like you get too much information in your brain. It's kind of like, I think of design as a language. And when you start speaking the language, you speak it very simply. And as you start to become more fluent in your own language, you start to be able to make more complex things. And sometimes, though you make more complex things, maybe you should. So kind of, I'm at this crossroads right now of, in my sketchbook, I have written, simplify, complicate. So I have to go down one road or the other, and I haven't figured it out yet. So I have all this work over here. I wanted to.
Don't get any more complicated.
I might
it's
have.
Beautiful.
So this is the bench that kind of started it all for me.
I like that.
Has this little, let's see if I can sneak in, little hole in the top that Chris kind of centers right over the rod.
Nice.
That was cool.
Okay, Peter, what would that cost?
That's around $3,000.
Okay.
So.
What's the biggest you've made in that style?
Of that bench?
Yeah.
I make like a 60-inch one, and I've done a bunch of commissions where people want it wider. So I've done some like double wide ones, and I don't know what the longest length I've done in it.
Look, I'm from Louisiana.
Yeah.
When I hear double wide, you know what I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, double wide. So this is kind of a latest bench I've done here that's just a little simpler, and I'm torn. Do I want to? Let me go off on a little tangent. I started doing these brackets. I had this commission of a client, and he said, I want you to design me a table that you can break down, put in your luggage, and fly to Oahu and put it together for me. I'll order a glass top. You build me a table. I was doing a lot of concrete at the time, and I want you to build me a table that you can assemble and put here. So I started designing all this stuff, and I built it, had to mock it up, because it's going to take a 60-inch square glass top, and I need to know it's strong enough before I'm, 10,000 miles home in Hawaii. So the first one fell. That didn't work. Kind of did all this work and came up with this table. Nothing could be over 60 inches long. It couldn't be over 50 pounds packed. And I did this table, and it sent me down this road. It was awesome. It had to be light and air. Going to be near his 11th floor view of the ocean.
Is that aluminum? This
is aluminum. Yeah. So these are kind of offshoot pieces from that era, and it's just that sent me the whole road of all this stick. They're making things out of sticks, and it's like the simplest woodworking. I am basically precision milling squares of wood to achieve very rhythmic and trying to achieve elegant pieces out of very simple wood. And this is actually kind of crazy, though. I've been talking about how I really have to make lasting a long time. There's actually a more that joint. So, because otherwise it's going to twist on you or miss a lot. So it is a barrel nut. So I have a stainless steel bolt that I've turned on my lathe. A barrel nut that I've made.
So let me pause you 1 second.
Yeah.
That piece right there that we're looking at.
Yeah.
How much time does it take you to make it? From you making the nuts, the screws, etc. Start to finish, what does that take?
I can make this table in under 2 weeks. So
making the screws as well, or are the screws already pre-made?
I buy the screws, but I turn and polish the heads.
So, and that's included in your 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and making that stainless barrel nut is included in it. And I've kind of come up with this thing where, look at these chairs because they're pretty awesome. There's a lot of fancy bracketry in these.
Nice.
Aluminum. And it's this thing where I work alone, but I make work that I sub out components of if I get really, and that's through the years. Like at this point, I make this bracket. This is from my original bench. I make this little end fitting in-house, but for years I ordered hundreds of them at a time because I was busy doing, and it was the kind of thing where I can prototype it in-house and then I can have someone else make a part for me out of house. So I'm working alone, but I'm also working able to make greater quantity thing.
So do you still do prototypes and have them made out, or you make everything now?
Lately, I've been making everything in-house because it's been slow. So if things speed up again, I've been quoting an order for a dozen chairs, and I'll send the brackets out for that. I don't want to do that in-house because it's someone with the CNC shop can make those, and I'll have more fun doing something else. And I can't compete. They have $100,000 machine, a $200,000 machine that I don't need to own, and I can't compete with.
Right.
So it's you try to be smart.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot to be said being able to prototype in-house. The first chair that I made, when I sat on it, it broke. So I needed to add these extra aluminum parts down there. And that all was adding that. Now they're strong. But if you can't do it in-house, you don't have a good feel for it. So I really like being able to make stuff myself, even if I have to sub it out eventually. So here's one of the sculptures that I did way back when. So
cool.
I've gone into these wall pieces with cables for a lot of years.
Nice.
Yeah. Repetition just up.
Beautiful.
There's another one here. So I bought these at an antique shop. I got this one and got this one here. And I was like, well, what would I buy? Make something that kind of referenced that. So I made these big kind of industrial looking ear sculptures.
Very nice.
Another an ancient piece. I'd gone through this drive in Amish in Pennsylvania, and I came back and I made like 6 of these little black block pictures. But those are 20 years old.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, we got 5 minutes.
Okay. Metal shop.
Metal shop.
Metal shop. So this started as here's my latest addition for the metal shop was a cold saw. It goes at 26 and 52 RPM. But let's look at this guy. This is kind of one of my favorite machines, one of my mainstays. This is a Hardened turret lathe, and it's how I make a lot of my little components in repetition. It has this turret which automatically indexes. It has stops for each head, which advance every time you cock it. And then it has drill chuck. This is a tapping head that you cut threads with. This is a head that will cut to a precise diameter. And there are all these collets that you have for it. You have like, these are like specialty collets, hexes and squares. And then I have like the full set of 64th hard-inch collets for it. You know, the tooling for metalwork and stuff is insane.
It is.
My Bridgeport drawer, which is like more collets of a different size, and end mills, drill checks, holders, and boring head, and right angle head, and this stuff I eat up. This is like what excites me these days. Like, let's get into micrometers. Let's do some precise measurement, and it's insane. And then you get the bigger micrometers, and it's like, what do you do with these? Oh, just measure stuff. Sometimes you just need to have it there. It's like the tooling it's crazy.
Wow.
So then we got some small little precision drill presses. And then everyone knows the Bridgeport mill. And they're great. And they take this little R8, and it's like a sports car. And I use my Bridgeport a lot. It's fast, it's nimble. This is like a Mack dump truck. This thing is Cat 50 taper in the head, and it's not precise like the Bridgeport. I mean, it can be. It's just the movement of the handles isn't good. This is for removing copious amounts of metal. It has a vertical head, and it has a horizontal head.
Wow.
Either one. The head slides in and out. The head pivots on it, but it's just, this is, I bought this 3 years ago, and it's just a beast. I have some sheet metal working stuff, a slip roll, stomp shear, and a small press brake. But really, I love my lathes. This is Monarch Double E, which is a coveted lathe that was originally made to make, it was like to make burn nuclear material, and a lot of were radioactive when they were resold. And then here's my oldest lathe that I've had, not oldest in years, but the longest one that I've had. And this is a Cincinnati 15 by 30. This thing just, it makes chips. It's awesome. Lots of tool holders. And another bandsaw here is a dual bandsaw, little horizontal bandsaw.
No, Jeff, this is downstairs.
This is downstairs. Oh yeah. Otherwise, it would be downstairs. Either way.
Either whether you brought it upstairs or brought it downstairs, it's going to end up downstairs.
It would be downstairs, no matter what. So yeah, you know, little sanders, and I've been really working on these little shop projects. I put this little trolley, and I built a trolley myself, but I got this rotary table that's just too heavy for me to lift. So I put this trolley. Yeah.
Mine's on the floor too.
Oh, and then here we go. Because everyone needs one of these, right?
Wow.
It's like 2.5 inch drill bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever used it?
I use it all the time for my shop tour. But this one I have used. This is 1 7/8. That one I use But yeah, I mean, I got lots of stuff, but as long as it's organized, I'm good with it.
So how do you usually acquire this stuff?
Well, I used to go to live auctions, but that's kind of done. Now it's like eBay, or go to your friend has something for you, or Craigslist, or I don't know. You just find it. It's like you're looking constantly, and I buy a lot less than I used to because I'm kind of at capacity, and I don't want to get overwhelmed. I've been really trying to optimize what I have. So
2 minutes.
That's my big thing lately, is like, take what you have, put it in good shape, fix it, or get rid of it, and be like, I'm thinking, I'm 46 now. I'm going to turn 47 this summer, and I'm really thinking about the next 20 years, and thinking about getting weaker, like I can't lift everything that I used to lift, and B, I want to. What shop do I want to have? I don't want to be drowning in stuff. I want to be able to make my work. Most important. I love the machines, but my work is kind of, at the end of the day, the big thing for me. So that's where I'm at.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing store, amazing shop. So what's next?
I'm at this crossroads of where do I go? Do I complicate? Do I simplify? And I just did these 2 pieces for the show. This is a little order that I'm working on. It's a pedestal table.
Okay.
And after that, a few odd jobs, but yeah, what's the next piece I'm gonna build? I don't know.
All right. So we got about 30 seconds.
All right. Did we make it?
Yeah.
Do we have questions?
Do we have any questions?
I don't know, not in 30 seconds, but.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
it's been an absolute pleasure.
We didn't even get into all the discussions. I wanted to talk vegetarianism with you, but we didn't.
All right, so let's get off and get back on.
We can do that.
All right. So we're going to get off and we'll come right back.
And then we could do some questions then too, in case there's.
Yep. You got it.
All right.